Hey, what's going on YouTube? Today I'm going to showcase a 1-bar Oakensoul build for the Magicka Nightblade. This build is capable of pulling over 84k on the parse dummy. This build utilizes some of the best gear in the game to pull endgame DPS. I will be using mythics and trial gear, so this is not a super beginner friendly build, but rather more for endgame players who prefer 1-bar builds. I will also do my best to keep it as viable for content as possible, such as offering a flex spot for heals and giving advice on some alternatives to either gear or skills in the video. Anyways, here's the build. Just a quick shout out for Omni from Degeneration X, a PlayStation guild. Thanks for making the run quick for me and creating a community for PlayStation players. If you want to be a part of this community, I will post a Discord down below. So starting off in the character sheet, I have 64 points in a Magicka and I'm running the Thief Mundus. For the race, I am a High Elf. Other alternatives include Khajiit, Dark Elf, and possibly even maybe Bren would be fine. For food, our best choice is probably Clockwork Citrus Fillet, and a cheaper and almost as good alternative would be Witchmother's Potent Brew. And if you're parsing or just need more sustain, then Ghastly Eyeball is always the go-to. So for potions, because we have all of the necessary buffs other than Major Intellect that comes from Spell Power pots, we're going to opt instead to use Heroism pots. So for the potion combination I used Dragon Reum, Dragon Blood, and Columbine. This gives us Restore Stamina with Major Endurance, Restore Magicka with Major Intellect, and Minor Heroism. The most important part about this potion is the Minor Heroism and Major Intellect. Major Intellect is going to help us sustain, and Minor Heroism is going to give us crazy ult regeneration, paired with Major Heroism that the Oakensoul provides. So this is how we're able to drop so many ultimates through a parse. These potions are quite expensive to make, so make sure you have 3 points in medicinal use to benefit from the full duration of the potions. Medicinal use could be found through the alchemy skill line. If you want to opt to not running that, you can always just use Essence of Magicka. That'll be perfectly fine as well. So for CP, for the blue tree, we're going to be running Backstabber, Wrathful Strikes, Deadly Aim, and Master at Arms. For the red tree, we're going to be running Sustained by Suffering, Siphoning Spells, Rejuvenation, and Balanced Vitality. So for gear, we're going to be running 5 pieces of Pillar of Nirn, 5 pieces of Whirl Adept, 1 piece Oakensoul, and 1 piece Slime Crawl. So breaking it down in the main hand, we have a Pillar of Nirn Dagger, Nirnhone with a flame damage enchant. On the offhand, Charged with a poison damage enchant. For the head, we have 1 piece Slime Crawl in medium with a max mag enchant, traded in divines. For the body, we have 5 pieces of Whirl of Depth, all traded in divines with max mag enchants. For the pants, we have 1 piece Pillar Nirn, traded in divines with a max mag enchant. For the jewelry, we're running 2 pieces of Pillar Nirn jewelry, both in Bloodthirsty as the trait with spell damage glyphs. And for the last ring, we're going to be running Oakensoul, Bloodthirsty as well, and with a spell damage glyph. So for skills, we're going to be running Merciless Resolve, Elemental Weapon, Impale, Twisting Path, Barbed Trap, and Incapacitating Strike. So for the rotation, every 5th light attack, you want to proc your Merciless Resolve. Keep up Barbed Trap and Twisting Path as best as possible. And then whenever your dots are all up, try to use Incap. And at 25%, you can start doing Execute. And at this point, you can drop your Merciless Resolve. So closing thoughts, first off, for spammable, if you don't want to get Elemental Weapon or don't want to use it, you can always swap to Swallow Soul or Concealed Weapon. I personally would pick Swallow Soul because of the heal it gives. In terms of bar slots, you can always drop Trap for Zovgin and then free up a bar slot that way, or Order's Wrath seems to be a good choice as well. You can also drop Twisting Path if you really need another skill, and if you want to play more at range, you can always drop the daggers and get an Inferno Staff instead and play at range. If you're doing that, I definitely recommend using Zovgin so you don't have to keep coming in for Trap, but you still do need to for your ultimate, so you could either run a different ultimate or you can just get close to the boss whenever you need to use your ultimate. And you can always choose to run Boss A instead of Whirl if you feel like the boss moves too much. And lastly, if you have Advancing Okeda, I think that works too as long as you use daggers. And I think that wraps it up. So in regards to update 35 and the Oakensoul changes, I'm going to hold off on trying to build around that until we get closer to a final patch notes for what the changes are actually going to be, because we're still in the very early stages of PTS, so I don't want to make assumptions too early. But since we are almost 2 months on console, I'm going to keep making builds and then adjust them when the next update drops. And I think that wraps it up. Thanks for watching the video. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them in the comment section down below or come join our Discord. If this video helped in any way, please consider subscribing and liking the video. And attached will be a parse and outfit section. And as always, thanks again and see you in the next one.